I missed it. Hey, happy Friday. We're gonna go play some of the songs from the week from our Jolly Roger community. And so I want you to go get logged in over there, jollyrogerukulele.com. You don't need to log in there. That's just where all the sheet music is posted. And I'm going to go post our link for today's class. And we're going to get going. We have a lovely day of music here. Let me tell you what we're going to be playing in just a second. Let me post the link first. Let's get the business end of things taken care of. Paste, shift. I'm over at the studio. I don't have a good setup here anymore. I used to have everything set up where it was really easy to use, and right now everything's been a pain today. Update, and slide up, update. All right, so there's all that. That's all doing better. Make sure the link works, which is, I'm going to hit this button first. Always something with always one more button you got to click, right? All right, so that opens up to where it's supposed to open up. And this camera is surprisingly close to my face. There's that. Today we are playing. We're going to strum a couple songs in the key of C. We're going to play My Spaghetti Monster. We're going to play Three Blind Mice. We're going to play Brahms Lullabye. And so those are that, and we're going to do it both ukulele and baritone wise. And so we're going to have to move kind of quickly. And let me get our class tweeted here. HTT, not capitals, HTTPS/// Jolly Roger ukulele.com. Hit enter. My face used to pop up. It's not popping up anymore. So I'm going to start adding on the Jolly Roger logo on there. Open. And then I'm going to hit tweet. And that'll pop up there. And people will have a skeleton on their timeline and they'll be like, what is all of this about? All right, so let me close that out. Welcome in, everybody. I'm running a bit behind. Today has been a technological disaster area. We're in a very weird angle right now because the camera died earlier. I was super late earlier. Camera died earlier. I had to tear apart all of the cabling around here in order to figure out why the camera died, which I never did figure out, other than I'm suspicious that the multi-USB port, which you have to have now. I have all these computers only come with one USB port. So you have to buy these multi-USB ports. And of course, I bought a pretty decent priced one, but I think that the quality is, whatever the cheapest possible thing they can get. Because what are you going to do if it doesn't work? You're going to just buy another one. You're not going to have a catastrophe. So anyway, I think we're all up and running, I hope. And let's pull up your strummers in the key of C piece of, I think that's what I call it, right? We want to pull that page up first. And for you guys, key of C strummers is what the file is called. EFGHIJKIJ key of C strummers. Here we go. Very excited about this. So last week we learned C chord, A chord, A minor, and F chord. By the way, the computer is sitting off to the side of where the camera is. I'm going to try as much as possible to look at the camera, but I have to keep peeking over to see what's going on in the chat bar. So let's see who's here. Vic is in from Eugene. She says overcast there today. Dennis is in from Toronto. 3 degrees and overcast. 3 degrees is slightly above freezing, Americans. Linda's in from Colorado Springs. Donna's in from Lakewood. Sun is shining. Wind has settled down. It's a good day here in Denver, right? Bruce is in from Virginia. Cloudy and cool out there today. That's not too bad. We'll take that on a winter day. Mary G is in from Golden, and we're having a pretty day up here. Rob is in from Texarkana. Sunny, windy, and 48. It's a little chilly. That's sweater weather for sure in Texas. David is in from Michigan. Greg is in. Hey, Greg, welcome back. Janice is in from Scotland. I love the background. Dull and damp. It's dreek. We don't speak Scottish here, so she's always good to help us understand what she's talking about. Dull and damp in Scotland. Elizabeth is in from Bozeman, a little cloudy up there, and Connie's in from Denver as well. Broomfield, actually, which is north of Denver. All right, let's get playing. Reminder: C chord, A minor, F, and G, Okay, those are your ukulele chords, ukulele players. I'm going to play on baritone today for this part of the class, and you're going to see how nice it sounds. If most of you guys have ukuleles in your lap, and that's perfectly fine, but I'm going to play a baritone. Whoops, go the other direction. And then together you'll hear what's coming out of the speaker, what's coming out of your ukulele. It's going to sound really nice and complete and full, and it's why when you go to a ukulele group and you see somebody walking in with a baritone, you're like, oh, okay, we're going to sound pretty good today. It just got that little lower voicing and should make you happy. This one, I brought this over here to the shop today because these tuners are going. They're no longer quaint. And so I'm going to take these off and put some better ones on. Maybe it's this one. I'll live with that. Let's see who else wandered in here. Valerie made it in. Cold and clear up in Illinois. It rained last. Oh, it rained last night. Oh, good for you guys. 32 degrees in Fort McMurray. Happy day to you. And then 71 degrees in Florida. Nancy reports in pretty much every day with perfect weather. Okay, let's get going. I want to play Kookaburra. Okay, so page 2 of your strum along, and then remember baritones. You are C, A minor, F, and G7. Okay, from the top. Let's do the intro, and then we'll go into it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, merry, merry king of the bushes. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh, Kookaburra gay, your life must be. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, eating all the gumdrops that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop, Kookaburra, leave some there for me. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, chasing all the monkeys that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop, Kookaburra, that's not a monkey, that's me. Kookaburra sits on a rusty nail, gets a boo-boo on his tail. Cry, Kookaburra, cry, Kookaburra, oh, how life can be. Kookaburra sits on an old gum tree, merry, merry king of the bushes he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh, Kookaburra gay, your life must be. So fun little song. Question is not so much whether you like or don't like the song. I'll tell you why it's the greatest song in the world ever. But how are you doing on getting your chord changes in? And when you're missing a chord, is it because you fell asleep on the previous chord, or it's just your hands are not quite moving quickly enough to get that shape on? And knowing, hey, am I smart enough? Hey, or not smart enough? I know I'm willing to accept defeat enough that when I see a chord coming, it's not going to happen. I just jump up to the next chord and get ready for that one. So, for example, if you're playing baritone, getting your F chord on can be quite challenging. If you're playing ukulele, getting your G chord on can be quite a bit challenging. And so just knowing, hey, if I can't keep up, which chords can I drop so that I can keep up? And I think that's about the typical way you play that song. Those of you guys who are Girl Scouts in the United States, you will probably know that song. The rest of us have never heard that song. It is an Australian song. And I think, as a songwriter, my thought is, if I had written a line, stop, Kookaburra, stop, Kookaburra, that's not a monkey, that's me. If I had written that line, I would just drop my pen and I would never write another line ever. I think that's the greatest line in music. I absolutely adore it. All right, let's move on to this little light of mine. Play it a lot slower. Okay, I'm gonna do a I'm going to do this with it, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you should either pluck it or strum it or drum it, whatever makes you happy. 1, 2, 3, 4. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let's do it one more time. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. 2, 3, 4, bum. Okay, so there's your. Again, how quickly are you getting from C to F to that, 1 G7 for ukulele players? Not terrible, right? C, F, and then your G7 index middle ring here. A little bit easier than a G. Maybe that's going pretty well for you. And then finally, we'll be doing Danny Boy in Book 2. It's in Book 2, the fully or a fully arranged version of that. But I like to do it here because it's got it's only got three chords, and they're the three easier ones on ukulele. Everything in the key of C is hard for baritone because you've got this F chord. But it's one of those songs, kind of world class, kind of people know it, and so it's not a bad one to just know how to kind of get through it. I'm going to switch to ukulele. So baritone players, you will have a little different experience, and just to be fair, right? I'm playing some on ukulele and some on baritone. Again, our big thought here is, hey, we want to get where we can play together. And so sometimes when we are talking about baritone versus ukulele, it's not really an either or situation. Both of them have sort of roles, and I want you to be able to play with somebody playing the opposite instrument. Okay, let's do Danny Boy. And again, there's no way I can sing this song. It is not in my physical ability, but you'll see. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just a 1 beat counting. 1. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you, must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. Oh, I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. Sorry for my singing. But if you come and all the flowers dying, and I am dead, and dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave for me, and I will know, though soft you tread above me, and in my grave will warm and tender be, and you'll kneel down and whisper that you love me, and I will keep in peace until you come to me. Okay, so those three chords, C, F, and G7, and you can pull it off. If you are a singer and those chords don't work for you, you just have to transpose it into their relatives. Typically, with Celtic songs, we usually play them in the key of D. So we would play, "Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling." And you go to the G, "From glen to glen and down the mountainside." And so you have that version. I think that's in the little book. Do I have a little copy of the little book? Ended up taking it home. You might look in the little book. I think I put that one in D. No, I didn't. Now put that one in A in the little book. "Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside." So it's an A in that little book, and then typically we play it in D, which would be D chords, G chords, and A7s. "Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are..." D chord, D chord. "Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside." A7. Okay, so in other words, this song works in all of those keys. It's only in here because we are studying the key of C, A minor, F, and G. But just know that probably if you go to an Irish pub, they'll be doing it in the key of D. Our little book has the same song in the key of A, and so for those of you who are singers and you're looking for the best voicing for it for you, just know you transpose, right? And we'll be working on some of that as we go along, and tools that you need for those of you who like to sing to transpose songs into other keys. All right, next up, My Spaghetti Monster. This is what, like I told you guys already, this is where we go from being having fun with ukulele to being instrumental musicians. Okay, My Spaghetti Monster is where it begins. Baritone players, sit out for just a second. I've got a ukulele in my hand. Let's go ahead and play it ukulele wise. All right, from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play it one more time. I had a hesitation there at the end. I wasn't sure if I had played 11 and 12 or not. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, that's the ukulele version. Ukulele players, you sit out for just a second. Let's go do it on baritone. Baritone players, grab your instrument. You guys are in the key of G. Okay? The ukulele version's in the key of C. Yours is in the key of G. And what's fascinating about it is you play it identically in terms of the skill set. You just come out in a lower voicing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. the first time through. One more time through. Double check that you were playing it well. Baritones only. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, three, four. Pretty. Let it ride. Very nice. Um, this is the spot. This is the song that takes you from who you were to who you're going to be. And so don't let this one get by on you. And what I mentioned during class earlier this week is you need to have one song memorized. One. You gotta have one. Right off the bat, you need to have something memorized that people won't sing along with that makes you sound amazing. I would put, if you didn't have it memorized or if it didn't go well today, Saturday, Sunday, this is your song. Don't look at anything else. Just really dig into this, because everything that you're going to need to know going forward is brought together completely on this page. You've got chords, which we don't use on this song. You've got a melody line, which we will use on every song going forward. And we also have combined that with some modified chord shapes in the tough uke, so that you end up with this really complex chord structure under what is a reasonably playable song. And it's just enough repetitive, but just enough variation in the melody to make it interesting. It's short enough that people will actually listen to you play it, and you'll be like, see, I'm a legit ukulele player. And they won't ask you to play anything else. This is one thing I know about our audience members. They want you to play them something. They want one song. They would like it to be short. And once they figure out, oh, you really do know what you're doing, they're not going to ask you to play again. They're going to ask you to show them what you're doing. And so stay on top of this one. This one's meaningful. And since nobody knows it, they're not going to know if you mess up. That's the other nice part about it. All right, now let's get back together. Let's go play Three Blind Mice. We're going to play the ukulele version first. So grab your Three Blind Mice on ukulele, and you're going to see, we already saw earlier this week how we do this. So Three Blind Mice, ukulele version. Let me find my version. This is one I've been teaching this since day one, and you'd think I'd have it memorized at this point, but I just keep telling myself, I don't know if it's that important or not. How come I don't have it here? UTUVRST. It's not there. Let me go see if I got my baritone version in here. OPQRST. It's not there. Let me go into the deep storage. Sometimes they just vanish in me. Ukulele. There. And then come over here. And go over here. I'll find it, guys. Don't throw in the towel yet. Three Blind Mice. Here we go. All right. So one of the things that's interesting when you're learning ukulele, it's all about you, right? And you're just a single person and you're hoping to be the best ukulele player you can be. But when you hang out with me, I'll keep making you play other things. I make you play with people. I make you sit out. I make you do all this other ensemble stuff. Because at the end of the day, what I do know is that that's going to make you the best player possible. And so we do a lot of that stuff around here too. What I'd like to do on Three Blind Mice, by the way, I will tell you about sitting out. Earlier, if you were playing baritone, you had to sit out, or if you're playing ukulele, you have to sit out. One time I went to the symphony here in Denver, and it was a movie. They were showing a movie up on the screen. I don't remember what movie. And then the symphony was playing all the music in the movie, and it's kind of fun. And but I got to noticing there was a French horn player, and I think he was the third French horn player, was just sitting there. Song after song after song after song. Half the night goes by, intermission, hasn't played a note. Come back from intermission, he's sitting there the rest of the night, and I'm thinking, this guy's a professional musician. He's just sitting there. And then about 2 songs before the end, he picks it up, his French horn, finally, plays about 8 measures, and then he puts his French horn down, doesn't play the rest of the night. Well, that's sitting out, right? He had a job. It was his job was to play those 8 measures when they came up. The rest of the night he just sat there, and he can't be on the phone, so he just has to sit there and be very pleasant. And so sitting out as an ensemble musician is a thing, even when you're a professional. And so this is what we do from time to time. In this case, Three Blind Mice, I've got my ukulele in my hand. That means baritone players, you guys are on your C chord, and you're going to put this C chord on. 4 beats per measure. Don't listen to the music. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The only one that would be different is when you get down to the very end. 3 blind mice. Okay, and just give us one big strum on the measure 12. Here we go from the top. Ukulele players, don't play the chord. You don't need to. You know how to play that chord. You're going to be playing that, and you're going to be playing a G chord in the next song. And you have a choice here. You can play the melody, but what I really need you to play is the tough uke line, which is, again, just thumb down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum, strum. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so what we're doing there, ukulele players, you're playing the tough uke or the melody, one of the two, whichever was going best for you. And then the baritone players are picking up the the chord environment. So there's going to be this nice booming underneath, real full sound, and the ukulele players are just right above that and doing their gig. And it would sound amazing if we were all working together. And baritone players, right at your house right now, you're like, yeah, that sounded pretty good. Let's now do the baritone version of that. So you switch over to your baritone paper. And ukulele players, they're going to be playing the same exact shapes on their fingers. That means you have to do a different shape. So you can't do your C chord anymore. They will end up in G as their key. So your job, grab your G chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You do that exact thing 11 times. And then when you get to measure 12, you're just going to play one strum. Okay. So to finish it out, here we go. Baritone players, remember you can play the melody, or you can play the tough uke, which is identical except that you bring your thumb down over everything. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum, strum, strum. Okay. Ukulele players, doesn't that sound nice? You're running the chords, I'm playing the baritone, it's going into your head, all this stuff's coming on your speakers. Hopefully we're playing at the same timing. As long as our timing is the same, we're going to end up with this really nice piece of music. Very simple piece of music on one level, right? It's just one chord. On the other hand, we got chords, we got melody, we got rhythm, we got all this stuff that's got to come together at the same time. And you'll know whether it went well at your house or not. And usually it does, right? When we do something similar, relatively straightforward like this. Now, we played let me give you a quick summary where we're at before we go into the next level. Okay, so when you guys came in last week, we learned a little bit about chords. We learned how to tune it. We learned how to hold it. We learned how to do all of this stuff. And then we started off with Frere Jacques, one note at a time, up and down the neck. And then we talked about the key of A, and now we've talked about the key of C. And so we've done a lot of music theory background. Whether you understand it all or not is not really important. What's important is, hey, you're starting to build this vocabulary of music. And the nice part about this is, once you're comfortable reading tablature, all tablature is the same. You're going to be able to play a banjo, mandolin, guitar, any fretted instrument. All tablature is exactly the same. So now that you are getting comfy with reading it on ukulele, you'll be able to go play those other instruments. The other nice thing that happens right off the bat after the first couple weeks is when you buy your ukulele, you bought it because you thought it would be fun, and you saw some pretty girl on YouTube going la 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 la, and she's singing and her thumb's sticking way up, and she's whatever, doing her thing, and you thought, I'm going to do that too. So you start that, and then you realize you're a terrible singer, or you're struggling with rhythm, or all of the songs start to sound exactly the same, and so you're like, well, I'm going to go talk to Gary. And so you've been here a little while. We've covered Frere Jacques. That's the most important piece of paper in our entire educational program here. We learned a little book with strumming in A. We're starting work on those bars. Okay, we started that last week. When you warm up on ukulele, I want you to play that Make It Better bar worksheet. Tune your ukulele up, play your Make It Better bar all the way up, all the way down, and then you're ready to start working on music. Okay, we learned how to play a major scale last week. We learned how to start strumming in the key of C and A over the last 2 weeks. We've played My Spaghetti Monster, which is your first chord melody arrangement. It's the first song I recommend that you memorize, so that when somebody asks you to play them something, you have something. The other nice thing about Spaghetti Monster, if you are ever wandering around, you're walking down the street and there's a music store. They don't exist anymore, but once in a while you run into a music store. You go in, you look around. The first thing you're looking for is, where's the ukuleles, right? And when you get to the ukulele, you don't have your sheet music with you, of course. You need to have something memorized that sounds really beautiful to play on that ukulele, because the main music shop, they let you take the ukulele down and play. They don't know anything about ukuleles at the music shop, because there is no money in ukulele. You see all these ukuleles around me. The amount of money I will make from selling all of them won't even pay the rent around here. So it's not a big money maker for them. So they don't care about that in music shops. Music shops care about getting you lessons. That's where they make their money. And they used to make money off of selling you cheap stuff before Amazon, but then Amazon came in and says, hey, we're going to sell all the cheap stuff. You can sell all the fancy stuff. Well, you don't make money on the fancy stuff either. And so all the music shops went out of business. And now we're down to just a handful. And so when you go into one, obviously try to give them a little bit of money, try to buy something. But you always want to go to the ukulele area and play something. And having My Spaghetti Monster memorized and in your head will leave them with a lovely experience of you coming in and playing a ukulele better than anybody has come in and played that ukulele ever, probably. The other thing, the other one, this is me. I go in and I play 5'2". Dun 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 dun. And I always wait until just as I'm ready to walk out of the shop. I go play that song, and then I put the ukulele back on the shelf, and I say thank you, and I walk out. And I know the rest of the day the guy at the counter is going, 5'2", he's singing it, right? So you can give them the gift of a ukulele in a positive way with My Spaghetti Monster, or in the I'm going to ruin the rest of your day way with 5'2". But the big thing is, have a song memorized and have it in a complex, beautiful fashion like you have now. You're now playing. And if My Spaghetti Monster was super strong and tough on you today, spend a little bit of time with Three Blind Mice. Spend a little bit of time with Spaghetti Monster this weekend. Get him up as far as you can. Make him really beautiful and coming along. So let me see. A couple people wandered in here. Antonio is here. Hey, Antonio, good to have you. And Linda says, my favorite is 5'2" also. I love 5'2". It's also one of those songs when somebody comes and plays it, there's just no way you're not going to be singing that the rest of the day. So, all right, let's wrap it up. We got two songs left to play today. We're going to play Brahms Lullabye. First, we're going to play it on baritone. Should we do baritone first? Let's do baritone first, okay? Since there's fewer of you guys, and then we will um, play it on ukulele. So grab your baritone Brahms Lullabye, baritone Brahms Lullabye, and let's play it that way first. Okay, so baritone players, you're going to try, right? You might fail, but you might succeed, and you might surprise yourself, or you might be dismally disappointed in yourself at the end of this. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's That's what we do in music. Some days are good, and some days you should have heard me in guitar class today. It was a new instrument. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't play at all. And I think is Vic here today? Vic, I think Vic was there. Did she show up? Uh, yeah, Vic's here. Vic was in that class, and she will affirm that it was not pretty. Um, the ukulele players have the chords. Guys, you have G chord right there. It's going to look like that. Next middle ring. Okay. And then you're going to go to D7, which is right above there. There's your D7. Okay. And then you're going to go, once in a while, you're going to play a C chord. Those are your chords. Okay. And you need to know that. Okay. These are ones you have to memorize or write them down your paper so that you don't forget. G chord here, D7 chord here, C chord there. Those are the three chords in this song. Baritone players, they got the chords covered. You don't need to play the chords. You're going to either play the melody, okay, or you're going to play the tough uke, which is really quite a bit higher level toughness than Three Blind Mice. Same exact skill set. You got to put the chord on and you got to strum it down until you hit the melody note. And some of these will be easier than others. Lots of the D7s and C chords here are pretty challenging. So if you missed that class earlier this week, or I think it was yesterday, Brahms Lullabye, you want to go and review that class because what's on there. Once you understand how Spaghetti Monster works, now you understand how Brahms Lullabye works. However, the chord structure on Brahms Lullabye is that next level, and so there's a little bit of a jump in the skill level required to make this happen. All right, here we go. Oops, my chat box got moved up here. Let's see. Oh yeah, so Vic is saying, hey, you know what? We could use a bar chord on some of this stuff. You can. We don't push bar chords very heavily right off the bat, other than to play the Make a Better Bar worksheet. You're going to be playing bars as an instrumental musician. This is going to be a thing you get to do. You're going to hate it in the beginning. Eventually, it'll be fine, and pretty soon you'll be like, I don't understand why people fight about bars so much. But this instrument is really quite pleasant. Ukulele and baritone are pretty doable. It's not that they're easy, but they are doable activities. So be working on that to make a better bar. Vic's been around a while. She's been in a lot of the other classes, and we do bars a lot, especially in the more advanced stuff we do. And so she's getting, we're like, yeah, I'm just going to use bars instead. And you'll find out eventually bars are the secret to really being a versatile musician. But in the meantime, we don't have any bars on this one. Let's do it. I'm playing the baritone tough uke version. Ukulele players, you are strumming along with the chords. 3 beats per measure this time. So G, 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 D7, 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 something like that. And it's the lullaby, so nice and slow. Baritone players, all the way down to 16, go back to number 1, come back down and play the second time through. Here we go. 1, 2. That's a nice song. And you're playing real classical music. All right, let's switch to the ukulele version now. Baritone players, you're going to grab the ukulele music as well because you need to know what your chords are. And ukulele players, we're going to play exactly that same exact thing, but we're in your key, which is in the key of C. So baritone players, when you see a C, that's your shape, right? Okay, when you see a C, when you see an F, that's your shape, okay? And then when you see a G, that's your shape, okay? I'm assuming we're in C, F, and G, right? I don't have that one right in front of me at the moment. Let me pull it up just to make sure I know what I'm talking about. It's funny. I've taught this one again, taught it for years, and I'm like, I don't know if I just said something that's true or false. Yeah, C, F, and G. Okay, you're G7. Sorry, instead of G, you're G7. Okay, let's give it a try. Same exact thing. Ukulele players, you're playing melody. Baritone players, you're backing us up. 1, 2. Isn't that lovely? Lovely tune. Okay, very nice. All right. If you're doing well, you're ahead of the class, right? If you're doing kind of poorly, you're about where you should be. And if you don't need to be tremendous at the actual activity, you just need to make sure that you know what's going on and you know what you're supposed to do. Whether your hands and your fingers and your ukulele will cooperate or not are different question altogether. When I play, sometimes my hands and my whatever instrument is in my hand don't cooperate. I know what I'm supposed to do. I just can't do it at that moment. And I remember saying that to my piano teacher when I know how to play this. I'm just not doing it at this moment. I said that. I actually said, as a grown adult, I said that to my piano teacher. So again, this weekend you got make Three Blind Mice, Brahms Lullabye, and My Spaghetti Monster. That's where I'd be putting my energy, and I'd be making sure I'm really solid on that. Let me tell you very quickly what's going on next week. Next week, we start the week off with Yankee Doodle. Now, for those of you who are not Americans, we don't like Yankee Doodle either. It's not. It's a really goofy song but it fits into everything we've learned here. That emphasizes what goes on there, and so we'll be using that again as a song that we can use to further emphasize the information that we have here. And then on Tuesday we dig into the key of C arpeggio. Another huge step forward for you when we start working on arpeggios. Where instead of playing things like this or playing them like this, which is what all ukulele teachers teach you, we're going to take these 4 fingers and we're going to be doing, and sometimes we're going to just be using 3. Okay, and so we're going to start that process of getting these fingers where they operate independently of one another. That's very easy for me to talk about and very hard for you to do. And so we will get that process started on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we're going to start working in the key of G. So we're going to do Amazing Grace and Happy Birthday. And Happy Birthday is another one of those songs where the way we teach it and the way you're probably really going to play it are not necessarily the same thing. And so we'll talk about memorizing another thing. So next week, Yankee Doodle, key of C arpeggio, and then Amazing Grace and Happy Birthday. So we have a really nice, continuing to get a more and more complex look at what playing ukulele is like. Don't worry about getting a jump start on that stuff. Know that it's coming, but don't worry about that. Make sure you've got Spaghetti Monster, Brahms Lullabye, and Three Blind Mice pretty solid. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you got to have a pretty good sense of what's on those papers. And then next week we'll go just fine. All right, that's it. Have a wonderful day. Second concert, you made it through. Okay, very exciting. And next week we'll have your third concert. You guys will be old hat in no time. All right, let's see. Where do we leave off? Dennis says, difficult keeping the thumb in the correct position behind the fretboard. Probably. And Dennis, I'm not, the people that have the most trouble with this are people who have been playing like this, right? And I'm betting, Dennis, I know a little bit about your background. You've been involved with ukulele a while. You've probably been playing like this a while. And yeah, you will fight it more. I have one of my buddies in the orchestra, Bob. Bob would play music forever. And then when he joined us, I'm fairly passionate, and his thumbs up here. Well, he has been sort of not really, fight with me, but he's definitely been struggling with the notion of whether this is okay or not. And so over the years, he and I give him all kinds of heck when I see his thumb. But it is possible to play the other way. You're just making your life harder. That's all. And so getting that thumb to behave, it's usually because you have had prior experience either on guitar or ukulele that was unsupervised, and your thumb did weird stuff. And so that thumb is popping up there out of habit, probably. But your thumb really does go there. And so work on it. You may never make it, right? But you are making your life harder if your thumb is anywhere else. And so that's my job, is to make your life easier. So that's my plan anyway. All right. Thanks for bringing that up, Dennis. Not unimportant. Vic, have a great after. Well, some of you guys don't forget, we're going to do 11 songs in the next hour. I got to get my game face on, and we'll see how we can play. So come to the next hour if you can. And let's see, Mary, good to see you. Dennis, thanks for everything. Antonio, it was difficult to unlearn bad habits. It is that's why I try to get you early. If I can there's only a couple of bad habits, honestly, and the problem is once you've developed the other bad habit, then you got to get this part of your hand strong to do bar chords correctly, and the only way to get this part of your hand strong is to use your thumb position correctly. Yeah. So Mary says, I can do an F on, I can't do the F on the baritone yet. Neither can I. It's really hard. Just be patient, Mary. It'll come around. It will come around. I promise. I have had no failures on this of people who kept working on it. Okay. Plenty of failures of people who quit. Let's see. Linda. Oh, you're great. You're great. I'm not. I'm iffy. I know me. What goes on between here and here, very iffy, but you're wonderful. Thanks for being here, Linda. Janice, loving the lessons. Good. I'll see you next week, Janice. I'm so delighted you're able to find time in your day to do this. As those of you guys that are around the world, I know that, well, honestly, you're walking into this goofy thing. I know what I'm doing is the right thing, and if we can get more and more of you doing it, we will end up being, we'll change the world. The world, dominate the world. This is, by the way, this is World Domination Headquarters. That's what we call it, this room. All right, guys. I will talk to you all tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Monday. Have a great weekend.